It's not a stretch to say that the Senju are one of, if not the most influential clans in all of Naruto. The Senju weren't just powerhouses in strength, but in terms of social impact. Indeed, it was their clan that paved the way for the shinobi villages that form the backbone of pretty much all of ninja society today. Yet for all of that, we really don't know much about them. Sure, we know some of its most important members, but that's pretty much it. We don't even know where they are today, despite their influence being everywhere you look. My name is Hoodie, this is Kato, and today let's discuss everything we know about the Senju Clan. The Senju Clan is descended directly from Ashura. Aside from the Uchiha, they are as closely related to actual gods as you can get in the Naruto world. Naturally, this means that the Senju Clan are pretty much stronger than every other clan in existence. But despite this, they don't have any specialty or secret techniques that set them apart. No, instead the Senju were just kind of good at everything. Even the name Senju stands for 1,000 skills, and that's what they were good at, always having an answer for anything someone threw at them. Some of these Senju likely developed skills we can only imagine. I doubt Hashirama was the first Senju to have his own unique abilities, but everyone was just generally competent as ninja. The one flaw of the Senju, if it can be called that, is sealing jutsu. Luckily for them, the Senju were closely related to the Uzumaki clan, the world's premier sealing jutsu experts. The Uzumaki stepped in whenever the Senju needed any sealing done, taking away the one branch of ninja arts that they just weren't excellent at. Being a powerful clan, the Senju had equally powerful rivals, the Uchiha. The Senju and the Uchiha's rivalry went back far before even the names Senju or Uchiha even existed. The Senju were descended from Ashura, but the Uchiha were descended from his brother Indra. Indra and Ashura had a fundamental disagreement, one that led to a clash the likes of which the world hadn't seen since Hagoromo and Hamura fought Kaguya. Indra wanted to unite people and bring peace to the world through power, but Ashura wanted to do it through love. When the Sage of Six Paths had to choose a successor between his two sons, he chose Ashura. Naturally, Indra sought to overthrow his brother. The two fought, and Indra lost, having to flee. Despite this, their rivalry would continue throughout history. Indeed, it is this rivalry that remained between the Senju and the Uchiha. The two clans had been fighting for so long, the remnants of Indra and Ashura were completely forgotten. They fought because that's just what the two clans did. The cycle of hatred is a prominent thing in Naruto, with violence begetting violence in a cycle that never ends. That happened between the Senju and the Uchiha. It was hard to find a member of either clan that hadn't lost friends or family to the other. This constant fighting was part of the reason for the two clans being as strong as they were. In the Warring States period, before there were ninja villages, the Senju and the Uchiha were the two most powerful clans in existence. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this time period revolved almost entirely around these two clans. Whenever there was a war, everyone would wait to see what they did. If one side employed the Senju clan, then everyone knew that fighting them was pointless unless you had hired the Uchiha. All of this fighting is perhaps ironic, considering it was Ashura who inherited ninju, connecting people through chakra, yet his descendants spent their days practicing Indra's ninjutsu, using chakra as weapons. Still, even amidst all of this fighting, two boys met each other and became fast friends. In this era of war and despair, these two made a bond that someday the entire world would revolve around. Hashirama and Madara both wanted to change the world. They simply needed to get enough power to do so. Despite being from opposite clans, they got close thanks in part to neither of them knowing they were friends with their sworn enemy. In the Warring States period, everything was far simpler if you just didn't know a person's clan name. Then you might have to kill them. Still, their clans eventually realized what the two boys were doing, and both the Uchiha and the Senju set up an ambush for the other. Thanks to Madara and Hashirama, the ambush didn't work, but it did succeed in another way. The two simply couldn't be friends anymore, not with the world the way it was. They went on their own paths that would cross as they both became the heads of their clans. Hashirama and Madara would fight on the battlefield over and over again. The two were the only ones who could really oppose each other. Their brothers, Tobirama and Izuna, fought alongside them. While Madara and Hashirama kept on fighting, Tobirama eventually killed Izuna. When Hashirama next met Madara, his once best friend had given in completely to the hatred they promised to end. It was many more battles after that before the Senju managed to convince the Uchiha to a truce. Hashirama had to almost take his own life in front of Madara to convince him he was being earnest. Still, the two managed to end the nearly centuries-long conflict between the two clans. Hashirama had a dream. He wanted to create a world where there weren't clans, where people fought for something bigger, or hopefully where they hadn't had to fight at all. This was supposed to be a ninja village, an institution above clans and families, and Madara was the one to name it the village hidden in the leaves. Thus, the Senju formed the first great ninja village, and soon after that, all other nations followed. Hashirama was earnest about his desire for peace, and so he gathered up all the tailed beasts and spread them through the other villages. Though Madara was still worried that someday the Senju might come to oppress the Uchiha, and as it so happens, Tobirama became the second Hokage, and everything Madara had feared ended up becoming true. The Senju did oppress the Uchiha, ostracizing them as the Leaf's policing force. When Tobirama was near his end, he once again gave his role to one of his students, Sarutobi, and when Sarutobi wanted to retire, the office fell to Minato, who just so happened to be married to an Uzumaki, the most earnest friends the Senju ever had. Indeed, as Madara had feared, every single Hokage was either a Senju or pretty closely tied to the Senju. Hashirama's granddaughter, Tsunade, even became the 5th Hokage. We all know how this tale ends. The Uchiha were eventually all but wiped out, as if drawing the curtain on what had been a farce 100 years in the making. Yet through all of this, where were the Senju themselves? We know about its 3 main members, Hashirama, Tobirama, and Tsunade, but 3 people don't make a clan. The Uchiha had dozens, if not hundreds of members, yet we've never really seen any other member of the Senju. Well, the truth is that this is all we really know about them. At some point after Hashirama became the Hokage, the Senju kind of just disappeared. The series just never mentions them, which is strange. Lineage in Naruto is a pretty big deal, and you'd think someone would mention the world's strongest clan if they were still around. Besides, many of the experiments with Hashirama's cells that Orochimaru and Danzo took part in probably would have made a lot more sense with Senju test subjects. Yet in the anime, the manga, the light novels, there just aren't any more named Senju. The simplest explanation for this is also the most unsatisfying. The series simply didn't mention them or forgot about them because they weren't important. While they might have had a legendary rivalry, the Uchiha play a much bigger role in Naruto's story. The Senju might still be around in some unnamed ninja or Anbu, but they just never really did anything. Perhaps many of its members died in the Great Ninja Wars, being slowly whittled down over the years. Yet you'd think such a slow extinction of such a prominent clan would have been brought up at some point. It's a pretty glaring hole in the Naruto lore, and naturally people have tried their hardest to fill it. Thematically, I think there's an even simpler explanation. The Senju simply disbanded. When Hashirama wanted to create the ninja villages as something that were more important than clans, he meant it. You were supposed to care about the village first and the clan second. Is it not reasonable that the Senju would be the first to try and set this example? What if most of the clans simply became members of the village and abandoned their last name? Perhaps a decent number of them gave up fighting altogether. That was another point of having ninja villages after all. This was probably a slow process, but over generations, is it so hard to believe that the clans slowly stopped existing? Tsunade was the biggest exception here, but she is the only person directly descended from Hashirama himself. It could be reasonable that she felt a sense of pride and duty that the other members of the Senju didn't. Still, the name would die with her. The rest of her clan had spread their bloodline with other members of the village. Maybe many of them didn't even know they'd ever been Senju at all. It is still a bit hard to believe. I mean, some of the Senju probably did want to just live as Senju and not give up everything. Yet the theory also answers some fun little questions. Have you ever noticed how the Leaf Village seems to always have some of the most talented ninja? I'm not even talking about people like Sasuke or Itachi who are from prominent clans. I'm talking seemingly normal kids who were either civilians or from average clans who then went on to become legendary ninja years down the line. From Jiraiya to Kakashi to Minato to Orochimaru, the list goes on and on. You'd think the Leaf Village was just luckier than all the other villages combined, but maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it wouldn't be too controversial to think that more characters have Senju blood somewhere in their history than we know about. But hey, that's just a theory. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell. Before I go, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of the incredible patrons over at patreon.com/KatoIT. We're super active in our Patreon Discord server, occasionally throwing some late night anime movie watch parties, so if that's something you're interested in, pledge just a single $1 to get an invite. You could also follow us on Twitter at KatoBeyond. Links for everything will be in the description. Again, my name is Hoodie, this is Kato, and thank you for watching.